everything here. We are on episode 18, and it's Friday night. Happy Friday to all of you tuning in live. Appreciate you spending your late night here with me. But every Fridays, as you know, is Open Lines Friday, where it is primarily your show tonight. Whatever topics you want to discuss, whatever things you want to share, tonight is the night for that. You guys have given me a ton of great comments and questions for tonight already. And it's still not too late. If you want to get your questions in, drop them in the chats wherever you're watching. You can always go to the Discord as well. Here's the Discord link down at the bottom of the screen. You can chat with me before or after the show if you want to be on the show as well. That's a great place to do so. And especially on these Open Lines Fridays. Like, even if you disagree with me, if you want to debate me, let's set up a debate. We can go back and forth. You present your evidence, I present mine, and we'll let the chat decide. So like I said, I already got a ton of great questions, and I see some questions already rolling in. Happy Friday to you all, King, Jack, Joy. So glad for all of you guys to be tuning in. Susan, Scott, I appreciate it. So last night we talked a little bit about cymatics, the golden ratio, 432, how it all tied into the old world power grid, the ether charged, the sound infused power grid. We talked about how the Palace of Versailles and many of these old world palaces had no restroom facilities. And a lot of you guys were telling me, well, what about the chamber pots? There were chamber pots. Well, first of all, that should draw a red flag that such beautiful places like Versailles and other palaces had no oversight or consideration of hygiene. They'd build these marble stairways, these marble hallways with vaulted ceilings, but they would have servants walk around with chamber pots. And the whole of that story always is they clearly didn't even know how to use those. They had to fumigate Versailles every year during the summer. They had to send the royals away to clean and fumigate, scrub all the waste because they would just go wherever. Anywhere and everywhere was a chamber pot, as it were. Hey, Nephilim Hunter, good to see you here. Glad you were able to catch it. I know it's late at night for you as well, but glad you were able to tune in. All right. So I've taken a bit of your questions from the last few nights of episodes here. The ones that I didn't get to that really kind of stood out to me and kind of really felt like they should get a little bit of an answer to them. Starting off with Rooster, he was talking about a TED Talk that he saw that sound can be used to heal and heal the body. And there's medical research that's being done on sound. And you're absolutely right, Rooster. They actually break up kidney stones with supersonic frequencies being targeted directly at you already. There was I think it's the Rife machine that back in like the early 1900s was a machine developed to cure your body with targeted sound waves. The gentleman that invented that also invented the modern microscope. Tragically, and as these stories usually go when they have something that's so well received by the public, such as sound healing, to heal pretty much any ailments, and Dr. Rife did it with extreme success, he passed away with a heart attack. As of a heart attack, I should say. A sudden heart attack. Just like the man who made the car that ran on water. So many great inventions, and the inventors often meet a untimely fate, and their secrets go with them to the grave or with them to the government's vaults. Let's see here. But yeah, very great question. Very great comment, Rooster. Yeah, about the TED Talk. Sound is being used in a lot of ways already, and we don't know it. We can build with sound. We can levitate objects with sound. Wanted to show you this one cymatic plate video here, speaking of that. Just kind of want to loop it for you and let you guys see they're like really finite beads, and there's a mass amount of them. There's no sound in this one either. But think of those cathedral windows, those stained glass windows. Think about some of those beautiful sacred geometry structures. And look at the shape that this makes. I'll kind of loop it on a repeat here for you guys. Look at that at the end here. I am not certain of the frequency used, but I fully believe that if they didn't build the whole entire structure of some of these buildings with sound back then, they definitely used it to shape stone and to shape some of all of those like ornate carvings. I believe it was like a form of sound, like sound 3D printing. Susan says, have you considered breathe Aryan lifestyle for Tartarians to explain the bathrooms? Yes, Susan, we touched a little bit on breathe Aryans. There's a monks that essentially are able to just breathe with breathing and meditation, uh, throat chiming. They're able to raise their frequency to where they say they don't need to eat. Studies have been done on them and confirm that they can go weeks and not longer with barely anything other than a glass of water. It's fascinating what we don't know, either by choice or just our sheer still blissful ignorance about what our bodies are truly capable of. And I believe more so than anything like technology that they had in the old world, the thing that they were far more advanced than us with is health. We already know that Noah, Adam, his descendants from the Bible, they lived hundreds of years. I truly believe that was accurate. But the further down Noah's line, the less older they would live to. So a breathe Aryan lifestyle, and I believe that was supercharged with this ether power grid, with these sound frequencies. I believe they were blasting frequencies amplified by those star forts acting like subwoofers on ley lines. There's no coincidence that a vast majority of these star forts are built on earthen ley lines. Amplified 432 like frequencies. The power of frequency, vibration, and energy amplified our bodies as they powered these buildings. Susan, you said you never felt better than when I do fasting. The longer I fast, the better I feel. Only a week straight so far. That's pretty impressive. I've tried some fasting too, and yeah, I agree. Like they say to have like fasting like purges every couple months, every several times a year. My uncle's a nutritionist of sorts and recommends all kinds of stuff like that. And there's a lot of benefits to that, purging all the toxins, all the crap that they put in our food. the more you do that, the more you get all that stuff out. And supposedly the benefits are immense from it. How many of those forts were destroyed? Nephilim said. Dozens, hundreds, thousands of them. And what's worse is like we just took no care to preserve the past whatsoever in that department. The fort, a star fort here I want to show you guys in St. Augustine, Florida. Somebody yesterday, Bobby Bands 410 here said he lived in St. Augustine when we were talking about Fort Castillo. And the funny part about that is they actually built the first golf course right on top of that star fort. And I pulled some pictures of those from my archives here to show you just how negligent they were, these inheritors to the past. That's why people like King Louis didn't know how to keep his palace in order, because that palace wasn't built for him. He just merely inherited it. This is in St. Augustine, Florida, one of the first golf courses, the first golf course in Florida. And it was built right through the middle of the Star Fort. And the fun thing about some of these pictures here is how easy they are. I want to show you guys a little trick. Pulling some of these photos, I instantly found right off of the Library of Congress site tons and tons and tons of alteration signs. So I want to show you a couple of those that I just kind of randomly saved and pulled out of the lineup there. And we can kind of go through my process of that together. And a lot of you guys ask, where's like the sources I get for a lot of these pictures? A majority of them you can find on loc.gov. It's a great place for just a raw digital archive of so many photos. And that's where you can find the edits right from there, whether or not the Library of Congress or whatever was responsible for them upon digitization or not, who knows, but they're all part of the connected machine. Also, digital archives at libraries, like I use like the Boston Library, New York Public Library. They all have these huge digital archives. Newspapers as well. And you can search just by keywords like enter giant, enter Tartaria, and just see what you guys find. There is tons of stuff out there. They just leave it right on the surface because most people will never take the time to actually look for it, right? Matt Glenn says you live in 904 Florida. There's tons of stuff in Florida, isn't there, Matt? Tons of buried pyramids. Supposedly the Garden of Eden is in Florida. The Fountain of Youth is in Florida. Tons of interesting stuff in Florida there, Matt. Love to see some of your stories here. Okay, let's get to another question here that you guys asked yesterday. So bizarre. Rooster says, so bizarre, just like how the Palace of Versailles has no bathrooms at all. It's like, does ether also satiate nutrition? Could they forego eating? Yeah, that's kind of tied into a little bit of that breathe Aryan talk. I truly believe like the ether and that amplified frequency that they were on. We don't know the full picture of how they were able to pull it off, but you don't build magnificent palaces like Versailles with such an oversight as to having no bathrooms where you have to carry around chamber pots. And even then, they just defecated all over the palace like they were untrained house pets. Those type of people that would just go anywhere on marble floors and whatever, those aren't the people that built that infrastructure. That's why they don't know how to run. They didn't know how to run that system. That's why we now have to eat. We have to make waste. It was a clean, efficient system. We switched to coal. We switched to oil. We pay for our energies now. We pay for our food now. It's a perfect system for the parasites that run the show. Jeff Hogenkamp says, I just got back from Niagara Falls, and if you look just down the falls, it turns into a wall. That's awesome, Jeff. Did you know we actually have the power to stop the Niagara Falls? It's like in the early 1900s, of course, as these things usually are, they stopped the Niagara Falls from flowing completely while they inspected and repaired any cracks in the bedrock. But Jeff, I wonder if that wall is part of that big, giant hydroelectric system that Nikola Tesla supposedly built there. There was a big hydroelectric dam in the late 1800s, early 1900s in Niagara. It has since went in disarray and is closed down now. They tore down a lot of it, but you can still see it there. I wonder if that's the wall you were referring to, Jeff. Judy says weird stuff in Northern Illinois, too. Yes, Judy, shout out to Northern Illinois, my home state, my home area I grew up in. Showed you guys a video a while back on some of the stuff I found in my hometown of Rockford, Illinois. And I encourage you guys all to do the same. That's how we wake up. That's how we wake more people up, is find the stuff in your local cities. We all have cameras on our phones. We all have video cameras on our phones. Go to your old downtown districts. You will find tons and tons of evidence of the mud flood. It's everywhere, literally. Every city, every town, every country, every continent, including Antarctica. Okay. So yeah, Versailles having only 3 toilets, and those were kind of built in after the fact by what I was told from the chat yesterday. A lot of you guys were telling me that they built those 3 bathrooms more of as an afterthought, and I looked into it, and that was indeed true. They didn't actually build them originally with 3 bathrooms. They were quickly added on afterwards. It's like, oh wow, we made this massive palace, but we need to build some bathrooms, I guess, in it for 300 rooms. And I don't buy the commode story. And apparently neither did Maria Antoinette and King Louis, as they just went behind the drapes and tapestry like a dog. Much like the inheritors they were. All right, let's see. Let's get to another one of your guys' questions from last night here. Okay, so you guys were asking a lot about Europa. A lot about Europa. The last battle. Kind of wanted to give my take on it because I said I did watch the entirety of the 10-part documentary. So I was going to kind of just skirt past that because Europa is a landmine. It's a banhammer blockage type of landmine. But I think it's a good example to show you guys just how much they work. It wasn't just in the past that they've been worked to manipulate and doctor our history. This is an ongoing effort. Every day, they're still working at it. And Europa is a great example. So, if it's such a fringe topic, if it's so false, I was always brought up that the truth will always prevail. That in the public discourse, if it's such a crazy topic with no legs to it, if it's just complete conspiracy, complete anti-Semitic dribble, it will just fade away. There shouldn't be any popularity to it. But despite how much efforts they've done to completely erase this documentary, it should really make you kind of raise your eyebrows and be like, they're working that hard to erase something like that. It sounds very 2020-ish to me. That's why, I'll withhold a lot of my opinions on it, and I'll try and go over it the best I can, but I highly recommend you guys giving it a watch. Like I said, it's like a 10-part documentary series. It's made in 2017. It's really hard to find. It's banned on YouTube, Rumble. Rumble's going to be your best place to find it. Maybe I can try and post it in like the Discord, since we do have a private place in the Discord for it. But we're going to treat this as just, it's not my opinion here, YouTube and everyone else that I'm streaming to here now. This is just a revisionism film without any of my opinions, and these are just theories. So it ties a lot to Patton. It ties a lot to the Yahtzees being not as much of the bad guys as they're made out to be. And there's a lot of meat to that. Michael, you say it is on Rumble. Look for part 1. Yes. It talks a lot about the Austrian painters' domestic policies, why the world elites of that day were so determined to shut his domestic policies down. That was a big reason, because going out of World War I, mostly all the countries were in debt to these world bankers. Yes. And these world bankers were essentially controlling all these governments' economies. That certain painter, that Austrian painter, decided to do things a different way. And immediately he made enemies with everyone on the world stage. It goes into the official numbers, the 6 million numbers, the impossibilities, just by doing math, just like we've done on this program with the red brick numbers in America, how there's 2.3 billion bricks unaccounted for how many buildings they built in the time frame in the 1800s. It kind of goes into that type of math. And I don't think anything like that is, in my opinion, I don't think it's anti-Semitic. It presents a side we were never taught about. So one of the things in it, one of my personal heroes growing up, I always idolized General Patton. He was a very outspoken critic of the Allies' direction in the World War. He oftentimes would say things like, "We fought the wrong enemy. We should have kept fighting and going to Russia." I'm not going to read these quotes out loud, but I will put some of his quotes up on the screen here for you guys. So General Patton was supposedly going to get back to America after the war, and run against Ike and pretty much reveal all the Allies' motives, all the Allies' transgressions during World War II. He thought we were lied to and misdirected and deceived into going into war. We fought a brother war. I mean, it's definitely kind of sounds just like the same playbook that they use today, you know, bringing us into war under false pretenses, weapons of mass destruction. Now we have to go into Iran. And it's always the same players throughout history. I'm being vague with my wording on purpose. You guys notice I'm just trying to leave my own opinions out of it, just kind of stating a little bit of a overview of this in video and why you should really give it a watch. Also, good book is Killing Patton. That's a good book. You guys can read about what they did to General Patton. But yeah, so General Patton was a very outspoken critic. He said he hated the Russians more than the Yazidis. Again, saying we're fighting the wrong enemy. And then upon the day of him going to leave for this back to America, he got in a car accident and broke his neck. And even after he broke his neck, old Ironside still kept strong. He was still kind of fighting it out at the European hospital he was in, the German hospital he was in. He took tours of these camps and said that the occupants of the camps were not in the states that they were in. They were well fed and well off. Also, another interesting tidbit about what Patton was saying ties right into our topics about the bells. So he didn't just write about the war, he wrote about the sound. In his letters, he talks about how the German bells, the big bronze ones, rang differently. They rang deeper, like stone itself was breathing. He said, when they rang in Nuremberg, I felt it in my teeth. Not like our bells, those are teeny, off-key. These were alive. So just let that sink in. He knew about the bells. He knew about what they were doing to the bells back then already. So about 12 days later after his accident, he succumbed to his injuries officially. His story was largely left unsaid, unheard, aside from a few letters, a few correspondence to close personal colleagues. He died 6 months later. I'm sorry. But a low-speed car wreck with no witnesses. An OSS agent was supposedly on the military truck that crashed into him. It's all just a bunch of odd coincidences that the greatest war hero from World War II was just days away from coming home, and a low-speed collision from a truck carrying an OSS agent broke his neck, silenced him. So in addition to what they did to Patton, the Europa movie documentary series goes into the exaggerated numbers of the dead, the much larger Holocaust before the supposed World War II Holocaust. Billy Frad says no autopsy was done on Patton. Yeah, absolutely right. despite his despite objections from his wife. His wife knew something was up. I mean, she's a smart lady, married to one hell of a man. She was very adamant about getting an autopsy done, and the military brass, blackballing her with procedure and all that stuff. Said they were going to do an autopsy when they shipped the general's body home, and of course, one was never done. Nephilim Hunter says, damn, they had the ability to control cars that far back. Probably, but I mean, all it takes is a one brainwashed operator to change the course of history. Okay, so highly recommend. I wish I could go more in depth about Europa, but like I said, it is a landmine of a topic. It's a hard video to find. People in the chat are saying you can find it on Rumble. Highly recommend giving a search. Look for it. If I can post it to some of my channels, like maybe Discord or something, I'll do that. But everybody should give it a watch. I don't think it's anti-Semitism at all. It's not hating all of one group. It's noticing patterns and how groups were infiltrated and manipulated, just like all other religions. I mean, we have, like, evil doesn't want to be in the light. They operate in the shadows. They love to be hidden. So, of course, they're going to do and say and twist whatever they can to stop you from ever lifting up that curtain. But it's quite obvious. Much like all the other bits of history, World War I, World War II is a fairy tale with what they told us in history class. History class is pretty much nothing but a hand-woven tapestry of silly fairy tales that seems on the surface to be coherent, but when you poke at it even in the slightest bit of discernment, so many holes come up. The whole tapestry comes unwound. That's been the point of all these segments, these shows, is to kind of show you guys just how much surface level it's all BS. You just have to look beyond the few paragraphs they've taught us in history class. Like, oh yeah, they can build these massive palaces, but they don't build bathrooms on them and they just go in the hallways. Make it make sense. All right, let me get to a couple of your questions that you guys, a few more of your questions you guys had from the rest of the week's episode I haven't got to yet. Michael, you say, what about my Buy Me Coffee link? Best way to support me here. Here is a link to my Buy Me Coffee. I don't really drop too much. Like I said, I don't like asking for donations or anything like that. I will say it would all go to a new computer. That's kind of what I've been saving those type of things for. But my content will always be free and fully accessible to all. Another part of that as well, if you guys do want to be supportive of this program without even having to donate $1 or a penny, best way you can do it is just follow the pages you're on, like, subscribe, share to those contents, share them with your friends, comment, get them in the algorithm. You really help me out if you'd go to my show's Spotify page. We do have a Spotify. We're available anywhere you listen to your podcast, but Spotify is kind of one of my big growing ones, and we're pretty close to hitting a couple milestones there. So if you can help support the program by following it on Spotify, there'll also be bonus clips from all my episodes from all these shows as well on there. Lots of cool stuff on there, but again, it'll all be free and fully accessible to all. But that is a few ways you can support my channel. Also, here's the link tree here for all my other pages. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, X, TikTok, pretty much all these socials here now. And then, of course, our podcast we do 3 times a week live on 10:30 p.m. Central Time. Okay, so another couple things you guys were asking about here were the bells, wanting to get some official numbers for how many of those bells were removed and why. So, officially, in World War II, those bells, and a majority of those bells were, though there's no way to get the exact numbers, but they were all tuned to that 432 to 444 resonance, the golden ratio, where the bass was 432 and the higher octaves would be up to 444, the natural overtones, sorry. Now they're all standardized at the 440 hertz as the bass tone. And we showed you guys yesterday how the 432 hertz is the resonance, the chord of the earth, the sound that I believe they amplified with this free energy architecture. It's the golden ratio, it's the connection to the Schumann resonance frequency of the earth. It connects everything else's natural frequency. And they used it in everything. All of their architecture is built on a 432 pattern. The columns, the Chartres labyrinth in France, 432 meter perimeter, golden ratio strides for those big labyrinth patterns in Chartrese's cathedral floor. Geometric star forts, 5 to 8 points, all matching cymatic patterns at resonance frequencies. And those star forts would act as subwoofers, being on those ley lines, those natural energy points all across this realm. And they would amplify that frequency to the masses, that ether infused and charged frequency. I want to show you another one of these pictures from Florida here. I got pulled up. I grabbed from the Library of Congress tonight, actually. And at first, it looks well enough for an old picture. Of course, we always have the whited out skies, right? But look at these people in the top right. They just looked kind of odd to me at first. And then you zoom in here, and you can clearly see really poor edging work. Right here, you have a discolorization that's shown here and here. And you have the outline, like it's almost cut and pasted right into the photo. And right here at the edge of her umbrella, too. And I tell you guys, you can find this sloppy edge work. It's like watching a toddler trying to color in the lines. You can find these in so many of these old photos. The higher the resolution you get, the better. Matt says, dude, you are amazing. Hey, Matt, you are amazing. I appreciate all of you guys. I am nothing without an audience like you. I mean, just look at the column here and that star fort. The same star fort, of course, that they made a golf course. Because what better way to preserve history than build a golf course right on top of it? And of course, the ether antenna tower right here also has that same discolorization from the whited out skies. It's like they literally just cut out this background and put it right in a blank canvas here. Desperately trying not to show you what's in the skies. Right here as well. Just look at that sloppy edge work. This little building right here, really badly. It gets worse the more and more you look at it. People will say when I tell them about the whited skies, the unawoken, the NPCs, whatever you want to call them, will always say, well, that's just long exposure. Explain how that, something like that, that discolorization, that clear toddler coloring book looking outside the lines craftsmanship, how is that long exposure, overexposure? It's not. The blind, the willfully blind will refuse to see even when it's right in front of their face. So don't be discouraged, guys, when you try and wake up people, your friends and family. Like, some people are just not ready to see, no matter how much you convince them, but you just got to subtly keep working them. Eventually, something will spark, hopefully, with them. Not everyone can be awake, I don't think. I mean, I don't know. You almost feel like it's far less than 8 million actual conscious people in this world. It might, or 8 billion, it might be 8 billion. I don't believe that. I believe they've fibbed the population numbers. They want us to feel like we're overcrowded. But that's a topic for another day. But it does feel like so much of this world, like you just watch people, like one of my hobbies, I like people watching. And so much people just look like they're completely tuned out of reality. And they call us the crazy tinfoil hat wearers. Nephilim Hunter says, so hard to tell people anything. It can feel like that sometimes. It can be very discouraging, friends. I definitely know that feeling. But you'll be surprised. The real ones out there, the ones that can be woken up, they might not see it at first, but they will dwell on what you say to them. Just think back to when you guys believed the narrative. Everybody thought this stuff was silly at first, but it took that one spark for you guys to start seeing, for me to start seeing. I was a big, avid enthusiast of mainstream history before this. It's part of why I have such passion of revealing all of this stuff from the old world for you guys. Because me and my father, we love, good World War II documentaries, great World War II films, tons of World War II books and stuff. And then realizing it's all a lie. Like, it's kind of, I don't like being lied to. It's a big pet peeve of mine. And even more so, I don't like being lied to and deceived and looked like a fool for years. And that's exactly what history did to me. It made me look like a naive fool. And I don't like that. Okay, let's get to a few more of your questions here, and we'll take a quick sponsor break, and we'll get back to some more. Let me pull up a little, let me see here. We got a lot of good visual stuff here for you guys. Oh, here we go. I've been promising I would bring some space stuff for you guys, and I talk about how fake and gay space is. One of the videos I want to show you guys here, I got some videos tonight of my good friend and greatest astronaut, Don Pettit. But I need to show you guys first this breakthrough of space exploration from China. This is an official video of China's state media on their Chinese space station, because they have their own space station. This is the official video of their astronauts on a spacewalk. I hope you guys are ready for this.
哦，这里是王亚平建议他们来一个
对
最美后拍，
合影，对，
还有合影啊。
谁的影子在翻板上呢？
谁的影子在翻板上？
这应该是夜光
谁的影子？
我顺着脚底下往下一看，我的天，这家伙太深了，老远了，这深见底啊！我得可以抓住啊，再一松手人就没了。一看这飞船也是悬空的，一看地球也在天上悬着，无依无靠啊！看着地球的短。
I swear to God, it gets funnier the longer it goes.
哇，这景象太美丽了！我们现在看到地球上
It looks like a screensaver from Windows 98.
哦，这里是王亚平建议他们来一个最美后拍。
这个图像太棒了，我觉得这可以当做一个大片了啊！
综合报告，全景摄像机 A 工作正常，完毕。全景摄像机 A 工作正常，先合，专科比赛。
Okay. So are we convinced that we were wrong about space, guys? I mean, China really showed us. They really showed us here that they're nowhere close to taking over the world anytime soon. Not with those special effects, anyways. Susan, you said, yes, this one is good. The India one has a funny space video. Yeah, that's like the Galaga India one. Yeah, that one was hilarious. I should have had that one brought up as well. India's space launch. I mean, I'm not surprised it was so poorly made. About as well of a quality of product as their street merchants' food. Yeah, that was like watching a Nintendo NES graphics wise for the India space launch. Let me see. I'm trying to find one Don Pettit here. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. So this is a space enthusiast here interviewing our lovely NASA hero Don Pettit. He is an engineer at the International Space Station, and he's being asked what happens if you have a leak on board the International Space Station. Now, guys, I hate to break it to you, but when they said you had to work really hard and be really smart and really good at math and stuff to be an astronaut, they lied to you. Your cousin missing a few chromosomes could be an astronaut. And case in point, here's Don Pettit explaining what happens when you have a leak. Let's listen.
So my question is, how can you operate a lid on the outside of the space station by manipulating something mechanical on the inside of the space station without losing air pressure?
It's called real good engineering.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hey, think could fly.
So my question...
Don Pettit wakes more people up than any other type of anti-NASA person, truth seeker out there. He is the number one biggest waker-upper of people to how fake space is. Because it wasn't quite that video that did it for me about Don Pettit and NASA and space being all very fake. It was his whole, we lost the technology, and it's a pain to bring it back again interview. That was my favorite interview with Don Pettit. I don't know if you guys remember that one, where that dude just didn't have a clue what he was talking about. But one more quick one from Don Pettit here, the man, the myth, the legend. So this is him and his amazing invention from space station of a plastic bag for drinking tea out of. And I am going to see if you guys in the chat can notice the obvious fakery of it. But if you guys don't catch it, that's okay. I'll show it to you guys afterwards. But here we go. The man, the myth, the legend, Don Pettit, with his magic bag cup from the space station.
And the coffee continues to climb up that acute angle and until the whole bag is drained. Good to the last drop. Now, and that's the end of the video. I wanted to share that with you, a little discovery we made by using a little piece of plastic.
Okay, did you guys catch it? There's actually two things in there that I want to see if you guys caught. Let me see, chat. I know you guys are very smart, so you won't let me down here. It glitches out. There you go, King. Yep, that is true. It very much does. So much so, they say, oh, it's just a visual glitch in the thing. It's not actually a glitch. Let me play it back here for you guys.
So my question is, how can you...
And the
So wait until he says good to the last drop.
Good to the last drop. Now.
That's not a glitch from the stream. A glitch from the stream does not take a coloring out of a device like that and shift it completely away. So I guess his magic bag cup invention is completely clear. That's not how glitches in audio and visual feeds work. That's how glitches in doctored and photoshopped feeds work. You have to remember, even though they say, oh, we couldn't have faked the moon landing because we didn't have the technology to fake it back then. Yet in the same breath, the same government will say that their technology that they have is, decades, if not hundreds of years ahead of the private sector. So they had Photoshop, they had AI long before we did. And honestly, the more I look into the manipulations of history, the more I think the history they gave us was indeed pretty much all written by AI. Definitely wasn't written by the ones that actually lived it. They messed up on the CGI bad there, Billy. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And ironically, I want to just play the rest of this video here for you. At Mission Control, when it cuts out, it cuts out to a green screen.
I wanted to share that with you.
See that? Live from the International Space Station, and it cuts out to a green screen. Just another example of NASA's green screen trickery at work. See, just because I talk primarily in all my videos about the old world and our history does not mean that I am not aware of how fake NASA is. Okay, pick a couple more of your guys' questions here, and then we will go to a quick sponsor break, and we'll go right back to it. Matt, you said there was no gas chambers at the summer camps. Yes, you're absolutely right, Matt. There was indeed no gas chambers at, well, there were. The ones that they say are gas chambers, I should say, are ones that had no seals on them, no ventilations. They were built right next to the SS's mess halls and shops. So essentially, even if these wooden magic doors did seal in the gas, they were right next to the mess halls. When they would be opened up and vented, they would pretty much kill everybody next door having a meal in the officers' lounge. And apparently fingernails can claw through concrete. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, folks, taking a quick minute sponsor break. We'll be right back with more of your questions. A quick shout out to this program's sponsor, Riverside. If these live shows sound smooth and clear, that's Riverside making it happen. Killer audio, zero hassle, and it works every time. even on long nights like tonight. I've tried a bunch. This is the one that actually delivers. Want to start your own podcast? You should totally do it. Make your voice heard. Grab my link in the bio or show notes. It's an affiliate link. Helps support the show. Costs you nothing. Thanks for listening. Now back to the mysteries. All right, we are back here from that obscure prophet timeout here. I appreciate you sticking with us. Let's jump back into a few more of your questions here. Trying to pull up a kind of a long-lasting video of the cymatic plates so you guys can see some more of it. Of course, I'm not blaming my computer again for the issues with doing so, but let's just say my computer sucks. I'll just say that. Okay. Yeah, sorry, the lack of visuals tonight is entirely on my back end here. I've been trying to get them to display, but they're very sporadic here, guys. No worries, though, because you guys have been asking tons of questions in the chat here to go through. So, let's see. Just kind of reading through some of your recent comments and questions. I realize wars were sacrifices, Joy says. Yeah. Sacrifices the culling of the youngest and brightest of us. The lost generations from these senseless wars are terrible, terrible. All part of the process. Just like what they did in Russia, taking all the intellectuals, all the ones that criticized the red state, they rounded them up and uniformly executed them all. More so than anything of the German Holocaust was said to have accomplished, whether it happened or not. Great, great comment there, Joy. I couldn't name a time in my awakening with Asperger's. I missed many nuances, but knew we weren't spinning or evolving since grade school. Maybe I was waking up then. Yeah, a lot of us have been saying, like, even as kids, maybe it's the thing that links us all, even at a young age, myself included, the things they were telling us about, like, just, spinning hundreds of miles around and thousands of miles around the sun, and then all of that orbiting at, thousands and thousands of miles upon that and just hurtling through a galaxy, like, and yet we haven't left our own orbit. We can't leave low Earth or orbit. I want to know how they have all these absolutes and all these thoughts on our universe when they can't even leave our own planet. Well, supposedly we can, but that's debatable. Just ask yourself this if you think the moon landing was a thing. Where in human history have we not discovered new lands and reached new lands and not colonized the ever-living hell out of it? We would have had a Starbucks and a McDonald's on every square mile of the moon if we could have actually went to it. We would have had moon tourism and all of that thing. They were promising me trips to the moon since I was a kid. I remember in grade school, they said they'll have a hotel on the moon by 2005 and then 2010. And now we're going back to the moon, but we can't land there because we don't have these spacesuits. Even though I guess they had no problem with the spacesuits in the 1960s. Susan says, just the moon and the sun being the same size is hilarious. Yeah, perfectly. Well, no, it's not technically the same size, but just it's the same size in the sky, right? They all had to be exactly those distances for those solar eclipses, those lunar eclipses to happen. It's all a perfect system, and they want us to deny it. They want us to think we're spinning on a rock hurtling through space in vast nothingness, that we came from monkeys, that we came from cells and nothing more. Evolution is just another lie. There is far more evidence of God in the heavens above than there is on the theory of evolution. I've seen clouds behind the sun and the moon. You guys? Joy, I have seen so much stuff in the sky, and especially in recent years. I have seen multiple moons behind the clouds. My wife bore witness to this as well. We were standing outside in our backyard on a cloudy, moonlit night, and the moon was completely covered in a bank of clouds, but you could still see that circular glow of the moon, right? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we seen, as the clouds rolled by, another circular, perfect shape and size and illuminating light of the moon, but from another area of the sky. And at first I thought I was crazy. I pointed to my wife. I'm like, are you seeing that? She's like, whoa, I'm seeing that too. And then it got obscured by the clouds and we didn't see it again. But yeah, I swear I've seen the clouds behind the sun as well. I think the sun's been acting really weird the last several years. It seems like it gets much larger than it should at sunrise and sunset than it ever has in recent memory. I believe that's a big reason why they spray so much like they do. It always seems to be blocking sunrises and sunsets, if you notice. And they spray these skies daily. It's at least 5 to 6 days a week here. And speaking of the spraying of the skies, I don't know if you guys have noticed this the last couple days, but it has literally stank like doo-doo outside. Almost like, growing up near farms, almost like during the spring when they would lay all that fresh manure and you could just get a big smell of that. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed like an odd smell outside in the last couple days. But I was on the phone with my mother, and she's about 4 hours away from me in Illinois, and she also commented on a weird smell in the air. So I don't know if anyone else is noticing that, maybe around the Midwest area, but yeah. And then I see orbs nightly. You can see orbs nightly. Yeah, Michael, you're absolutely right. The symbols that they use, the primary ingredients, barium and aluminum, the periodic table of elements here, the letters for those are Ba and Al, ball. The parasites love to play that ball game with us, especially when most of us are so clueless to what that ball game is. Yes, Joy, it smells like a sewer. My wife says it smells like poo with cherries, like with traces of cherries. I didn't smell the cherries. I just smelled like straight poo. Like I was like right next to farmlands, all manuring at the same time. And it's still the dead of winter here. I mean, there's still tons of snow on the ground. No farms laying manure right now. Chat said, last week there was a bright blue moon coming out from behind the fullish moon, but it wouldn't show up on film. Yeah, I think that's why they gave us all these digital cameras too. If you notice some of those old world cameras, the ones on film, the quality and capabilities of them and the way you could zoom in on details in them are amazing compared to our digital photos. I mean, they look nice on the surface, but good luck trying to zoom in on anything or capturing something as simple as a moon on camera. Yeah, King, they love their balls. They sure do. They love to play with their balls and play with their balls together and laugh at us thinking we're the losers. But good wins, folks. They don't think it's hopeless. Don't think we're in a hopeless battle, that good and evil battle, because good wins. Christ is king, God is watching, and he is in control. I truly, truly believe this. In all my years of research, I was never an atheist, but upon a lot of my father's passing, some other things in my life, I went from wanting to be a Catholic priest at one point to kind of being agnostic, kind of resilient against the Catholic Church in particular. But now the more I dig in, the more rabbit holes I go down, it all leads to Christ, it all leads to God. And the fact that they all want us to stray away from him should speak volume. Everything from the frequencies, the golden ratio, the sacred ratio, to the church bells, everything was made for us to be connected to this world, and they want us desperately disconnected. Disconnected and fighting over stupid things like politics, stupid things like that. They divide us into smaller and smaller groups and keep us infighting each other so we can never rise up and realize who's truly running this world. Okay, let's see here. Take a couple more of your questions. Yeah, I'm sorry, guys, with my visuals. They're just truly straight up not cooperating for me today. Yeah, my computer. I am saving up money for a new system here with this, so hopefully I won't have that excuse too much longer. But yeah, a lot of my visuals that I had queued up tonight, no bueno, no bueno. All right, Glenn, you said you were thinking about the old world not having to eat and drink as much. They were filled up from the vibrations from the ether network. Yes, exactly right, Glenn. Tying into our video yesterday, the ether powered network, the cymatic sound generating cathedrals were not places of worship. They were places of healing and uplifting, enlightenment. Michael, you say make sure you have wired Ethernet to the PC, not crappy Wi-Fi. Yeah, I do have wired Ethernet. It's crappy Spectrum. That's what it is. I used to work for Spectrum for several years, and I was a internet technician, like a call center internet technician, and boy, the stuff that we would do to the customers, oof. And those TV surcharge broadcast fees and stuff, boy, those were ripoffs, and just getting yelled at every day for a living was not worth it. It's good money and you get free cable and free internet, but yeah, it's cruddy company with cruddy infrastructure. But they have a monopoly in our area, so we are stuck with either that or DSL, which, yeah, AT&T, DSL, or whatever. That's like 10 times worse than that. I'd rather take the crappy Spectrum internet. Cinnamon Social says, the star forts remind me so much of snowflakes. You are absolutely right here. I did have a visual for that question kind of queued up for tonight, but of course, as you know, my computer doing what it's doing, it's not really letting me pull up. But if you look at the sacred geometry symbols, and you look at a snowflake, and then if you look at a star fort, they are one and the same. They are identical for a reason, because they were not built for good defensive fortifications. they were built to resonate that frequency, to resonate on that ether network. Again, built mostly on those ley lines. Great question, though, Sentiment Social. I'm trying to work on that visual of that starflight fort compared to a snowflake as well, but yeah, I just cannot get anything pulled up tonight, guys. Rough night for my computer. Oh well, it will have a weekend break. Let's see here. Get a couple more questions in for you guys. Michael, you said in regards to the 432 hertz being switched to the 440 hertz standardized tuning, some artists are recording in the old tone, redoing some of their old songs, and re-recording them into 432. Absolutely right, Michael. I've heard that as well. A lot of artists are being made aware of the differences in that frequency and that tuning, and how much more a 432 hertz naturally resonates with their listeners. So yeah, it is good to see that there is some modern day work being done to preserve that 432 golden frequency. Hey, look, I got a visual to pull up. Those snowflake star forts, guys. So just take a look here. This is snowflake and a star fort. And you can see these cymatic similarities in them. And if you remember the golden ratio, the sacred geometry symbols that I showed you guys last episode as well, and how they also exactly mirrored star forts. And I was pulling up like these old Grand Tartaria maps as well. Let's just kind of see if we can get this to keep playing for you guys so you have some kind of visual while I answer some more of your guys' questions. I hope you guys enjoy Friday's show format here. Little messy, little unscripted, unfiltered here, just answering your guys' questions, kind of trying to have a casual conversation vibe on Fridays. Nice way to start the weekends. Not trying to go into big, deep dives like we do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just kind of trying to keep a nice, loose conversational vibe. Because frequencies and vibrations are important. Okay. Nephilim Hunter, you like old maps? Yes, I love old maps too. It's one of the few things I got from my father, of my father's, I should say, is this beautiful map he bought in Chicago when I was like 5 years old. It's a gold plated, like gold paper map with 1800s, 1600s map on it, showing beautiful Grand Tartaria, showing a lot of the old world lands that are erased, a lot of old world civilizations that are erased. But it is a beautiful map. I don't know if you guys seen the video that I posted of that earlier in the week on my TikToks and stuff. Check it out if you want to see really cool maps. But yeah, that's what you guys should look for, those old maps. If you see like original old documents like that, look at garage sales, look at old used bookstores. That's a great step and a great way to preserve our history. In the UN building, they have a map showing the lands beyond the ice wall. Michael, I know exactly the map you're talking about. I don't know where that map is. A lot of people say that that's not actually in the UN, but that map has been around. That picture of that map hanging on a wall has been around long before AI. So it is a legit map. It very well could be in a UN building, but the mainstream, the debunkers tell us no, it's not actually in the UN. but they never actually tell us where that map is or what's up with the map. So yeah, that's a very interesting. If you type in like ice wall map in UN, you'll probably have it pulled up. But it very well could, Michael. Like, I don't want to say it's not. I'm just kind of presenting both sides, looking into that over the years. It has to be somewhere, and it's not an AI generated map. It's long before AI, at least the AI we had access to. It definitely looks like somebody took a lot of care and timing into it. Let me see if I can pull that up on a web page for you guys, because now I do want to show you. Bear with me here. Okay, I'm just looking through. Yep, right here. All right, let me see if my computer will at least cooperate to let me share a web page. Usually it's good on that. Yep. Okay, here we go. So this is the map I believe you were talking about, Michael. Supposedly hanging on the offices in the UN headquarters, but again, I can neither confirm nor deny that. That is just the story that goes along with it. And of course, the mainstream will always say everything is debunked, so don't hold too much faith in it. But you can clearly see it looks like somebody spent a lot of effort and time on this map, right? It doesn't look like some thrown together little science project or something like that. Like, it looks like a very well detailed and purposed map. Wherever it is, who knows? You guys have any idea if it, if there's any official statement on it being in the UN or not? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. Super B says delete all your temp files. They slow your computer search run in the computer type. I did do that. Yeah, I've deleted all my temp files. I'm a little computer savvy on kind of the back end stuff. Disk cleaned. I disk defragmented. All my my cache, my cookies, all that stuff, and it helps a little bit. But it's a crappy computer. It's served its time. Let's put it that way. It's not the most expensive machine when it was new at the time, but I've definitely got my miles worth out of it. I can't complain too much. I can't be too hard on it. It's doing a good job being able to present this program for you guys. The real pain is the editing after the show. Like, I feel like most computers, I could probably get the editing of the show and all the clips uploaded and updated 10, 15 minutes worth of time doing that, maybe good half hour or so. And unfortunately, like yesterday after the episode, about 12 o'clock, I was up until about 5 o'clock getting through the editing of the episode and the uploading and exporting and all that stuff. And it just crashed my computer so many times in that process. But hey, I get it done. I'm on time every day here for you guys. And if I have to stream off of my cell phone, I know you guys will support me and understand as well if I do, but I won't stop presenting the program to you guys. We have so much to talk about. We have just this episode. I had nothing really planned too much to talk about with you guys, and it's just well filled up the time just with all your guys' awesome comments, all your questions, all your stuff you shared over the weeks. I do truly try and read all of your questions. I try and get to all of them. I was hoping to get to all of the ones that I had written out and planned out tonight, but fortunately didn't get to near as much as I wanted to, but that's okay. Got to a lot of your guys' comments and questions live, though. That's the best part. Because this program is just as much your guys's, and it's made possible just as much, well, more so because of you guys than me. And I really want to do as much as I can to give back to you guys, to show you my appreciation each and every episode. And so with that said, let's kind of just wrap it up for the evening here, kind of go over a little bit about next week. One of the things I wanted to talk about, talking about giving back to you guys, I am working on, I asked the question a couple weeks ago if you guys would be interested in getting like a like a USB disk, like a thumb drive of all my pictures, my videos, all my collection of my content. So over my years, like the maps, all the Tartaria stuff, and dozens and dozens of you guys were resoundingly very interested in it. So I'm working on like getting a bulk shipment of thumb drives in and working on a nice way to kind of load them up nice and clean and organized for you. And we will figure out how to give them to you on the cheap, like pretty much just cover shipping or whatever else, and they're yours. I'm not here about making a quick buck off you guys. The content monetization programs on these channels take care of me for the most part, though support's always welcome and appreciated, but it will never prevent you guys or paywall you guys from any of my content. It'll always be free and always freely available. Telegram's a great place to straight download my videos, my pictures that I use in a lot of these shows, a lot of the videos that I make. You can check that on my link tree. But yeah, I just put in an order for like 50 1 terabyte thumb drives, I think they are. And those should be coming at the end of the weekend. So once I get them all loaded up, ready to go, I'll drop a post about them and let you guys know how to attain one if you want. I just dropped my link tree as well if you want to subscribe to the rest of my channels. Great way to support the program. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my Spotify channel. That's a great way to help me out in the here and now. Next week's episodes will again be Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, live, 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Our late night chats. I don't know the two topics that we'll dive deep into next week. I haven't really thought that far ahead. I've been pretty busy here at home with the little ones and stuff. I haven't put too much foresight into that, sorry. But we'll have some good topics for you guys after the weekend. I hope you guys have a great weekend, though, as well. I really appreciate all the participation in the Open Lines program tonight. You guys have really made that quite a big success in my book. Not worried about the live counts or anything like that. We broadcast so late at night, but the viewership and the metrics are just amazing, guys. I can't thank you enough for all the support you've showed me in this program's short but fast time. We've already been doing this for a little over a month now. Almost on our 20th episode, guys. And it's all because of you. It's all thanks to you. So keep the questions, the comments coming. Don't forget to join our Discord, a great place to get a hold of me and chat before and after the show. Tell me what you want to chat about. And if you want any pictures or videos that you've seen in any of my videos over the years, just let me know and I can get them to you in our Discord or my email. Great way to get a hold of me also. I'm the improbabledreamer@gmail.com. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys enjoy the nice weather we're supposed to have, at least up here in Wisconsin. It's going to be in the 50s this weekend. I'm going to take my son and his scout troop to the nature preserve, the local nature preserve around us tomorrow. So that's going to be a fun time. And the weather is supposed to be in the 50s, so even better yet. Get out and soak in that sun if you have a nice day ahead of you for the weekend. If not, don't stay too far in those rabbit holes. Get up and enjoy the beautiful world around you. And we'll see you next Tuesday, folks. And until we do, again, question everything, friends. Until next time, have a wonderful weekend.